Tom Bower just cracked one of the biggest royal mysteries of the decade. And we're not talking rumours or online gossip, this is a real puzzle, hiding in plain sight the question Meghan Markle's real age according to Bower. The story we all got about who Meghan was when she was born, and how her rise happened doesn't match the records he found the deeper he looked thee. Stranger it got a father's memory didn't line up a 1997 magazine entry, completely broke the timeline. And documents that should have confirmed her age, they only added more questions. Bower wasn't trying to expose anyone. But piece by piece he stumbled onto something royal PR never expected anyone to notice. The Meghan Markle the palace presented might not be the same woman the records describe, and if her age at the centre of the story is wrong, then everything built on it, her Hollywood career, her royal entrance, even her pregnancies, needs a second look. This isn't gossip, this is ink. This is testimony. This is the timeline cracking open. Most fathers talk about their daughters with nostalgia, childhood stories, milestones. But when Thomas Markle spoke about Meghan, it was different, heavy, careful, deliberate, less a parent sharing memories, more someone delivering testimony, correcting the record. Before it became set in stone, he outlined her childhood, the school she went to, the years she performed in theatre when she really started taking acting seriously. But these memories didn't match the age Meghan publicly claimed at the time. Events said to happen in her late teens or 20s according to Thomas. They happened earlier or later, but not when the palace said. He didn't yell, he didn't accuse, he just explained that the Meghan he raised didn't line up with the Meghan the world met. Then he dropped a quiet but huge hint: her official birth year may have been changed, coming from her father, the man who held her as a baby, tracked her milestones with photos and dates. That statement hit differently. This wasn't gossip, it was a first-hand challenge to her public identity. Then Bower found the document that shook everything. In the March 1997 issue of 17 magazine, buried on page 90 among dozens of young hopefuls, one line jumped out: Meghan Markle, age 21, simple, ordinary, easy to miss, but impossible to ignore. But here's where the timeline starts to crumble. Do the math and everything tilts. If Meghan was really born in 1981, she would have been 15 in 1997, not 21. That's a 6-year gap, not a typo, not rounding, 6 years. And this wasn't some random comment online. The number was printed, published, and distributed across the country long before Meghan became a duchess, long before anyone had her reason to question her age. This one detail throws the entire story off. If the magazine was right, her schooling changes, her early acting career changes, the age she took certain roles changes, even her age when she joined the royal family shifts. And again, this isn't internet speculation, it wasn't a forum post or gossip. It was ink on paper, a record frozen in time, untouched by fame or PR spin for Bower. This wasn't just another clue, it was the turning point. Because once you see age 21 next to a girl who should have been 15, you can't just accept the official version anymore. Something somewhere had been rewritten. And that raises the big question: why would someone adjust their age? That's where the deeper investigation begins. Once the 17 magazine entry resurfaced the timeline, split into two versions. One official, one implied. The official story says Meghan was born in 1981, making her 44 in 2025. The version in Palace Files biographies and every public introduction when she joined the royal family, but the magazine suggests something else. If she was 21 in 1997, her birth year would be around 1975 or 1976, putting her closer to 50 today. That 6-year difference doesn't just change her age, it flips the way we see her entire life. It changes how old she was when she graduated. It changes when she started in Hollywood. It changes how old she was when she met Prince Harry. Instead of a 36-year-old actress stepping into the royal world, she becomes a woman in her early 40s. That one detail would have completely changed public perception, media stories, and even the palace's messaging. 2 birth years, 2 Meghans, and the question becomes which timeline shows the real woman and which shows the image. If questions about Meghan's age weren't enough, the story around Archie's birth pushed them even further. Tom Bower claimed the details released about the delivery didn't just sound polished, they sounded constructed, and for the first time he wasn't the only one noticing. A source familiar with Portland Hospital says the version in Prince Harry's memoir doesn't match how births actually happen there. Harry painted a calm cinematic scene, dim lights, peaceful energy, 2 epidurals, smooth labour, and the couple heading home in 2 hours, but according to people who know the hospital, the moment the story mentions 2 epidurals, the timeline starts to wobble, and when it says they left in just 2 hours, that part doesn't hold up at all. This wasn't about rumours anymore, it was about protocol. And protocol didn't match the royal story the deeper the investigation went. The clearer the contradictions became. Medical experts pointed out several major problems with the story told to the world. First, epidurals aren't given like painkillers twice separately, they're continuous, giving 2 doses. The way the story described doctors say that's nearly impossible. Second, a high-risk pregnancy like Meghan's age would place her requires strict monitoring. Hospitals don't just send patients home that fast, not after labour, not after anaesthesia. And certainly not if there are warning signs like high blood pressure or preeclampsia. Third, the drive from Portland Hospital to Frogmore Cottage takes about an hour if they were home within 2 hours of birth. That leaves barely 1 hour for delivery, recovery, evaluation, discharge. And transport, every doctor agrees, that just doesn't work safely. Finally, the cosy spa birth setup, water tubs, scented candles, birthing balls would never be approved for someone under high-risk supervision. Safety always comes first. Piece by piece, the story drifted from reality into something else, something shaped, softened and edited until it no longer resembled a standard medical experience. And if the birth narrative showed signs of rewriting it, mirrored the same pattern seen in her age, timeline, polished edges, missing steps, details that just don't fit. When public stories start to twist, silence often speaks louder than explanations. According to sources, the palace never addressed the contradictions. No clarifications, no corrections, just a steady commitment to the original version, as if even a small change could open the door to bigger questions. Some sources say this was intentional, a controlled decision to keep the story neat, tidy, and shielded from scrutiny. When timelines crack management steps in, it happens in Hollywood, in politics, and in royal circles. The goal is always the same: protect the narrative. The clean version only works if no one looks too closely. And in Meghan's case, the closer investigators got, the more the seams started to show the birth, her age, the records. Each piece had a slight bend, a small adjustment, a detail that didn't sit quite right next to the others. These weren't explosive accusations, they were quiet inconsistencies, the kind that don't shout but quietly build up. And once they build up, the story stops feeling natural, it starts to feel arranged. That brings us to the final chapter, not a conclusion, but a realization. The truth might not be in the official lines, it might be in the faint lines beneath them. Every public figure carries 2 histories. One is written in ink, permanent, official, neatly placed into biographies and press releases. The other is written in pencil, adjusted, reshaped, softened to create the version the world is meant to see. With Meghan Markle, the ink and the pencil don't match the Age in 17 magazine, her father's memories, the medical timeline that bends under scrutiny, the polished birth story. They each stand alone, but together they form a picture that looks nothing like the flawless narrative the world was given. The truth isn't loud, it's subtle. It hides in math that doesn't add up, in dates that shift by year, in hospital procedures that contradict royal anecdotes. It hides in the silence between official statements and lived experience. As Tom Bower followed those faint clues, a shadow of a different timeline began to emerge, older, sharper, far less curated. Maybe Meghan's story was never meant to deceive. Maybe it was meant to protect a career, protect an image, protect a version of herself that was easier to carry into a new world. But pencil, no matter how softly applied, always leaves pressure on the page. And when the light hits just right, those hidden lines become visible. Now the light has shifted, the erased marks are starting to show. Not enough to answer every question, not enough to solve everything, but enough to make it impossible to go back to the simple story the world once accepted. Without question, this story doesn't end here. It can't. Once a timeline cracks, once ink and pencil collide, the truth doesn't disappear, it waits. And with every new detail, every rediscovered document, every contradiction examined, one thing becomes clear: we are only at the beginning of understanding who Meghan Markle truly is, and which parts of her past were left in pencil, hoping no one would tilt the page toward the light.